waste my life. I don't wanna waste my life.
On the beats.
It's just some things, there's no going back. You know what I'm saying?
jwoodbeats.com.
Yeah, I'm not the one with the issues. I hear you. Now here is your tissue. If I'm moving too fast, I might have to dismiss you. And it's really too bad, cause I really will miss you. But I'm not the one with the issues. I left him at church when I made it official. I murdered the curse with my own benediction. Left God in the dirt, call it death of the fiction. Superstition will be served an eviction. Competition will be left in the ditch. Oh my God, it's too damn hot in this kitchen. The fishes of men are now swimming with fishes. Oops, my bad, I guess I'm moving too vicious. Verses sold, I gotta put them on your wish list. Bless my soul, cause I'm dodging your little hit list. I guess you know, you just lost another witness.
Gotta let me go, gotta let me go, gotta let me go. Gotta let me go, gotta let me go, gotta let me go right now. Gotta let me go, gotta let me go, gotta let me go. Gotta let me go, gotta let me go, gotta let me go, I'm out of here.
I can do anything, fuck your opinions and energy. I finally got the epitome. My biggest hindrance was God can't do nothing but fail. Greater is me, I never needed your deity. All of this human capacity, when it gets rough, I can pick myself up and prevail. Cause I don't need anything other than people who fuck with me. Good business, it starts with good company. That's why your boy is obsessed with community. Cause greater is we can create opportunity. Doing what God never did, cause a God never could, but a people is all we need.
Gotta let me go, gotta let me go, gotta let me go, yeah. Gotta let me go, gotta let me go, gotta let me go.
What's up, family? Happy Sunday. Man, we've been killing it for the past few Sundays of 2025. What is this, our third Sunday of the year? And we're back again. I want to welcome everybody to BridgeCity Global. For those of you who don't know, BridgeCity is a group of people who come from all across the globe who are committed to building community beyond superstition. My name is DaranteLaMar, and I'm so glad you're here with us for another weekend of Sunday sessions. Since March of this year, our community experiment has grown from 52 subscribers to almost 6,500 spread across 6 continents. This is absolutely amazing. Listen, if you're new here, please introduce yourself in the chat. We are super excited. We're starting a new series today entitled Unfuckwithable, and we're glad to have you here with us. So let us know who you are so we can make sure to include you in the conversation. Now, whether you're watching alone, with a friend, or a group, we invite you to participate in these transformative conversations with us as we work together as a community to connect over personal exploration and even global elevation. Consider joining our Discord campus and introducing yourself there, and we're going to drop that link in the chat for you for those who don't have it yet. And of course, speaking of community, if you happen to get here early on Sundays, consider dropping in for our pre-session meet and greet in Discord to get to know some of our awesome community members. And a major shout out to Atheist Odyssey for hosting a Sunday session watch party. We appreciate you and we love you. Thank you for your strength and thank you for your support. Now, listen, if you haven't already, make sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, hit the alert notification bell, check out the poll in the chat to let us know if you're a first-time guest or a regular, and consider joining, supporting, or connecting with this channel, content, or community in any way that makes sense for you. And last but not least, check out our merch and our products by following the links in the chat. It's one of the easiest ways that you can support the mission of building community beyond superstition while also spreading our values and giving yourself something to support. All right, so before we move on to our next segment of the session, if you find this community and these conversations valuable, will you please take a moment to share this stream so that it reaches someone who might be in some sincere need of secular community this weekend? And if you just shared this, would you let us know in the chat by typing, "I shared this"? All right, would you let us know by typing it in the chat, "I shared this"? All right, now it's time for BridgeCity News.
Hey
Hello, beautiful people. I am Darnaya Darice. Again, thank you for tuning in and welcome. I hope you had a great week this week. And for any of those who are in the affected areas of California, we wish you well and hope that you are staying up. And any resources or links, GoFundMe links or anything that you have to share, please let us know in Discord and we'll be happy to share it as well. All right. And before we go any further, if whether this is your first time or you've been here a long time, make sure you let us know in the chat where you are watching from, city and state if you're willing, but we love to see where everyone is so that we can continue to accelerate and build the community beyond superstition and know where you're watching from. And I think we have a super chat from Muttley. Thank you, Mutt. He says, who's volunteering to move to Antarctica? Oh no, it's too cold. It's too cold. I don't know, but we appreciate you always. Thank you. Thank you so much. All right. Tonight at 5 p.m. Central, that's 6 p.m. Eastern, if you're in the Eastern zone. All right. We are hosting a conversation with the cast from the upcoming documentary Heathens that Darante is a part of. So excited. It is a great cast. You don't want to miss it. And was started as a documentary, eventually evolved into additional musical project. And so we can't wait to see the final results of that portion as well. The group behind this film is the same group that produced the award-winning documentary Afghan Dreamers that is available on Paramount Plus. So if you haven't checked that out, you can see their work there with that. And we're extremely excited about tonight's conversation. So we hope to see you back at 5 p.m. Central. Also on Wednesdays at 5 p.m. Central, Darante hosts Bible study with the Ex-Pastor. It is a secular Bible study and it is fun. It is light. They're currently still in the book of Exodus. So if you, not Exodus, Leviticus. I don't know why Exodus on my mind. Exiting out. All right. Yeah, still in the book of Leviticus. So if you have a little free time on Wednesdays, make sure you check that out. And don't forget, Bible study with the Ex-Pastor is available on Spotify as well. Okay, so if you're on Spotify, go check it out there. Okay. And speaking of Bible study with the Ex-Pastor, Jason will be hopping back in. He joined Darante when he was in the book of Exodus, and they'll be coming back. He'll be coming back on the channel for an exclusive conversation for content creators. So if you're a content creator, make sure you tune out for that. That's going to be February 9th at 5. Out or thinking about venturing into the world of content creation, or if you are but not quite aware or know the resources of where to start, where to begin, and need some help with technical things, you want to be in this conversation. So Jason and Darante are going to share everything they've learned along the way that they feel will be helpful. Also on February 23rd, DaranteLaMar will be making a second appearance on Maya Atkinson's Bad Science Sundays. So keep a lookout for that. She does her show Sunday nights, and they have a good old long time. You're going to laugh, have some good fun on her show. So if you haven't checked that out, go ahead and do that in advance as well. And also, we are coming to Raleigh this year. So excited for spring 2025. If you're anywhere in the area interested in supporting, let us know in the chat. We created a crowdfunding page for those who are interested in supporting the event financially. Even if you can't make it, you want to drop a little bit for us, support that way, you can. We also rolled out new merch that you can check out on our website as well, so that people can support that way and support the merch also. So if you're interested in playing a part in planning, preparing, managing, participating in the event, we also rolled out a Discord channel called BC Rally. And I'm just going to pull it up really quickly so you can see. All right. So in Discord, there's a section called BC Rally. You can join that. And we have a slew of options where how you want to get involved. If you want to get involved with the registration team, the event management team, you want to help out with media tech, just any type of way, children and family, even if you want to help with hosting, music, simply set up and break down. Are you here to help? You can just click on any of these conversation feeds and let us know and comment, and our team or one of us will reach out and you will help us build along the way for the next couple of months. All right. And so we will be so grateful to have you here with that and letting us know there as well. Okay. All right. So I'm going to remove that. All right. And so we'll share the Discord link. If you haven't already, you can click on it. Also check out the description as well. And we're also going to share the PayPal link where you can contribute to the crowdfunding page that way as well. Also, if you would like to join the rotation of weekend warriors and help us behind the scenes on Sundays or Wednesdays, or even if you have just 3 hours or 2 hours of spare time, we would love to get your support that way as well. You can type "I'll help" in the chat, and one of our moderators will give you the Discord link, and we'll also drop the calendar link in the chat. So when you sign up, because we did have someone sign up, but we weren't able to reach you, one of our team members will normally reach out to you in advance to connect with you and see where you're willing to help, how much time, and then we'll let you know where we need the help at on Sundays and Wednesdays. But we will need you to respond at least 24 hours in advance. So anyone who missed this week, it's okay. We'll be glad to have you this upcoming Wednesday, next Sunday, and so forth and so forth. Okay. Just make sure you check your Discord messages because that's where we communicate. All right. Much appreciated. All right. And if you are looking for a way to get actively involved in BridgeCity Global in general, we have a guide of resources that you can look at. Join us every first Saturday in Discord for BridgeCity Dreaming Community Development Series. That's where we meet with our core team and anyone else who wants to join and start getting active so you can see the vision, you can hear about the vision, we answer questions, and you just get a slew of information and also get to connect with other members as well. And if you have extra time after the show, consider hanging out with our awesome members in Discord. There is a section that says post-session hangout. That's where you can go and hang and see everybody that's hanging back and meet other people as well and talk amongst each other also. So we would love to see you there. And if you have any other upcoming community events that you want us to shout out or let us know about, please, if we can add it to our news segment, but please let us know in Discord and use the hashtag BridgeCityNews so we'll know to add that as well. And if you're curious just to know how many people help us out and are working hard in this community who make this possible with everything that we do, make sure to stay to the end and peep the credits because we do show it there. Okay, let me make sure I didn't miss anything. Hello to everyone dropping in. Pleasure to see you. All right, now we're going to move on to our music segment and let's get.
What's up, everybody? So this is Bridge City Music. So we've been kind of doing this a little bit sporadically. Last week, I pulled somebody who was doing a cover of a song that I thought was very appropriate. And this was a song that I heard like a few weeks ago, and it's actually a remake, and of course I'm gonna remake it again, but it's somebody else. They're remaking an old song. I wonder y'all remember, like, I have decided to follow Jesus, you know, the world behind me, the cross before me, I won't turn back. Well, these recent groups of people put together this song, and it was a really incredible version. It was Goodbye Yesterday, I'm living in the light of a new day, I won't waste another minute in my old ways. But it was like, Praise the Lord, I'm born again. And I'm like, I'm not singing that shit. So I fixed the song. And y'all know I like to do shit like that. We did that with, for those of you who remember, instead of singing I Give Myself Away, we sang I Give Myself Some Space, you know? Instead of singing Here I Am to Worship, we sang Here I Am to Show Up. So I'm going to do the same thing with this song, and we'll see if we can work through a few technical difficulties. I've been trying to make this work for a few weeks, but I really did. I like the words, the flow of the song, and with a little bit of changes, it's now a community appropriate, people-centric song. All right? So it goes like this. Goodbye, yesterday. I'm living in the light of a new day. I won't waste another moment on my old ways. Hear me now, I am here to win. Goodbye, yesterday. I'm living in the light of a new day. I won't waste another minute in my old ways. Hear me now, I am here to win. Goodbye, yesterday. I'm living in the light of a new day. I won't waste another minute in my old ways. Hear me now, I am here to win. And again and again and again, I rescued myself out the mess I was in. I traded my sorrows for something to sing, and I'm dancing on the grave that I once lived in. Again and again and again and again, I rescued me out of the mess I was in. I traded my sorrows for something to sing. Now I'm dancing in the grave that I once lived in. So goodbye, yesterday. I'm living in the light of a new day. I won't waste another minute in my old ways. Hear me now, I am here to win. Goodbye, yesterday. I'm living in the light of a new day. I won't waste another minute in my old ways. Hear me now, I am here to win. And again and again and again, I rescued me out of the mess I was in. I traded my sorrows for something to sing. I'm dancing on the grave that I once lived in. And again and again and again and again, I flattered me out of the mess I was in. I traded my sorrows for something to sing. Now I'm dancing in the grave that I once lived in. I have decided to follow reason. The cross behind me, world before me, I won't turn back. I have decided to follow reason. The cross behind me, world before me, I won't turn back. I have decided to follow reason. The cross behind me, world before me, I won't turn back. And if you're looking for me, I'll be dancing on the grave that I once lived in. I'll be dancing on the grave that I once lived in. If you're looking for me, I'll be dancing on the grave that I once lived in. If you're looking for me, I'll be dancing on the grave that I once lived. If you're looking for me, I'll be dancing on the grave that I once lived in. If you're looking for me, I'll be dancing on the grave that I once lived in. So goodbye, yesterday. I'm living in the light of a new day. I won't waste another minute in my old ways. Hear me now, I am here to win. Listen, I hope y'all enjoyed that. And honestly, hearing that, even just singing that right now, man, I'm like, damn, I wish we had some drums, a bass guitar, lead guitar, some other shit going on. Because that shit is exciting to me, and just creating music that encourages people, pushes people, inspires people, and shows people the beauty of humanity is one of those things that I'm really all about. And that's one of the reasons I'm super duper excited about us coming to Raleigh in April, because that means we may have the opportunity to actually have some live music just like this, full band singers and all of that stuff, just like this, to be able to share with you all. Forward to that. Looking forward to that. And I'm going to let baby girl take it from here. Well, I can teach you.
Yes, and we're so excited because we do have the website up. All right, so you can go to the website. It is bridgecity.dld.us/Raleigh.php. But we will also put it in the chat. Also, keep a lookout on Discord and in the description as well. And this is the front page. So if you land on this page, you know you made it to the website. All right.
I've realized we're not sharing the website yet.
Okay.
Let me share this tab.
Yes, and it's looking great. So easy to maneuver through. And so here, if you want to find out more information for those who want to come or even support financially and know what you're getting into, know what you're supporting, you can come and look at all that information you see here. We have a welcome. It gives you a little bit of info about Raleigh, North Carolina itself. As we go along, we will add all the speakers who's coming. You will see a general itinerary, give or take. It gives you an idea of what we would like to do in its fullness, and then it will adjust as we get closer to the event. But you can check out the ideal itinerary, and you can also look at the community portion, and there you will also find where you can connect to Discord, to the YouTube and everything of that nature. So everything is literally on the website, nice and quick and easy for you.
Absolutely. And there's a lot of things that I didn't get to do this week. Like one of the things that I wanted to do, I had actually started a new song I was going to do a new intro song for the channel that was going to be called Unfuckwithable. My computer's been acting up all week, so I wasn't able to do that, but I was able to get this done. And one of the reasons that I prioritized this is because that our team had the idea this week to start doing more polls throughout the week on our YouTube community page. And one of the polls that was done was Kurt gave us a poll to garner interest about the Raleigh Weekends event. And I realized as much as I talk about them, there's really nowhere for people to go get information about it and to learn more about what we're trying to do, what we're trying to accomplish. So that's why I went ahead and literally yesterday morning is when I built this bad boy. Well, it was between Friday night and yesterday morning. I started on it Friday night, finished it yesterday morning, just so that we can have something that we can actually point people to, and so that people can actually register. And look here, they can. Bam. And people have actually already started registering. So if you're planning on coming, this is a good way to let us know. And of course, registration is absolutely free. We talked about that last week. If you missed that, you just missed it. All right. So that's that. I got that.
Before that, I want to give you a shout out because everyone's giving you love in the chat.
Oh.
Eyes open their hearts. They love the lyrics. Amazing. Infidel, Superline, dancing on the grave. Nancy, round of applause. Darante, Sonia said she needs to hear that song today.
Wow.
Turning turntables and everything. We appreciate the love.
That is so beautiful, y'all. Y'all are amazing. Y'all are amazing.
Yes.
For sure, I appreciate that. And I'm just getting my little chat moved up so I can actually see chats, since y'all know we changed our setup. And
got multiple screens.
Going on. All right, awesome then. Well, I think I'm ready for this. Are y'all ready for this conversation today, man? Y'all are so beautiful.
Series.
This new series, right? All right, now, and this one has a lot of words in it. This is a big series, right? This is one I've been excited about for a long time, and I hope y'all are just as excited. We're going to talk about a lot of good stuff in this one. So let's just kind of jump into it. A few years ago, it became real popular for young African Americans to refer to each other as king and queen. What's up, king? What's up, queen? That's my king, that's my queen. Yeah. And this was actually a resurgence of a practice that developed between the 1940s and the 60s. With the goal, and while the goal of this was to inspire significance, where supremacist ideology provoked inferiority, I found the practice to be shallow and superficial. In the same way that a kitten getting in an oven doesn't make it biscuits, saying the words doesn't change the circumstances. And so for years, baby girl and I've kind of joked about little stuff that we've heard people say. Like we were listening to a motivational speaker one time, and he was like, yeah, I bought my wife an expensive purse. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm a king. And that's how you treat your queen. And I'm just like, oh, is that what it is, huh? And another person like, I make a lot of money, because I'm a queen, and that's how queens do. And I'm just like, wow, because none of that has anything to do with royalty. And interestingly enough, because we live in a democracy, we're so far removed from the concept of royalty that we equate the idea with riches and rewards. We equate the idea of royalty with being rewarded. We equate the idea of royalty with being given something. many times in spite of whether you deserve it or not, and so it's like a child who equates the idea of its parents' paychecks with toys and candies, completely overlooking the real need to cover the bills and expenses. And so in the spirit of today's conversation and this weekend's demonstration and this weekend's commemoration of Dr. King, I'd like to pull on this concept of royalty. I mean, the name just speaks royalty, doesn't it? Because in spite of this shallow appropriation of the terminology, I feel like my people might have been onto something. The mark was missed for sure, but maybe we were onto something. Because when I think about the process of becoming royalty, and I'm not talking about being born into, married in, or even voted in, I'm talking about those people in history who began in obscurity and somehow reformed their worlds around them simply because they had the audacity to do so. Like I used to say all the time, like, damn, isn't it crazy that Alexander the Great is only the great because he woke up and decided to be? He just said, you know what, I think I'll do some shit that ain't nobody else trying to do. And so when I really stopped to think about it, I realized that the path to royalty is paved by the art of becoming unfuckwithable. So and I went back through history to look at people who I agreed with and disagreed with, just to look for people who came from nothing and made something out of their lives, whether you agree with them or not. Like the first one is Napoleon Bonaparte. Now, Napoleon Bonaparte is actually, he's actually an enemy of my race, if there was such a thing. He's an enemy of it. But originally, he was a minor noble from Corsica. Napoleon rose through the ranks of the French military during the French Revolution and eventually crowned himself Emperor of 1804. Somebody already knows what today's title is. Catherine the Great, born to a minor German prince. Catherine ascended to power after a coup d'etat that she organized, which resulted in her husband Peter III being overthrown. And then you got Genghis Khan. I know y'all have heard about him. Born as Temujin into a nomadic tribe in Mongolia, he endured a tumultuous childhood and an early life of extreme hardship and danger, but somehow united the Mongol tribes and founded the Mongol Empire, one of the largest empires in history, through his unparalleled military strategies and strong leadership skills. Oprah Winfrey, born into poverty in rural Mississippi to a teenage single mother and later raised in an inner city Milwaukee neighborhood, Oprah faced numerous hardships early in life, but today is celebrated as a media mogul, philanthropist, and producer, having built a billion-dollar empire and becoming North America's first Black multi-billionaire. And then Jay-Z, growing up in the Marcy House's housing project in Brooklyn, Jay-Z overcame early adversity to rise in the music industry to be crowned as the first hip-hop billionaire. All right. Now, I was going to say Jay-Z is unfuckwithable, but it looked like they might be fucking with him a little bit now, so we'll see how that goes. But the point is, royalty is a function of responsibility. It's the art of becoming unreasonable when it comes to the things that you have decided to be responsible for. It is the determination not to let anybody else take your seat at the table in your life. It is both a decision and a discipline to accept both the weight and the wonder of the crown. When I was a Christian, I believed in the priesthood of the believer, that all believers, because of their connection with the divine, represented a royal priesthood in the earth. I believe this. Now that I'm a humanist, I view all human life as sacred and therefore royal. If you haven't noticed anything about me yet, come on, you got to let them know now. If you haven't noticed anything about me yet, I intentionally tailored these messages to inspire you to reclaim every bit of your agency, your autonomy, and your authenticity so that you can walk in the authority of who you are. Yes. I want the members of our community to be absolutely, unapologetically, unashamedly unfuckwithable. That's how I want that shit to be. But that will require acceptance of the weight and the wonder of the crown of responsibility and resilience. So if you're ready to join us in this journey of becoming unfuckwithable, I dare you to type "crown me" in the chat. Go ahead and type crown me. Crown
Put your
me.
crown
Go ahead, put your crowns on, man. Like, is there a crown gif? Is there a crown meme? I don't know. But type that crown
It's
me,
a crown meme.
crown me in the chat.
Well,
yes, indeed.
before we dive in too deep, the research arm of our community, Alyssa, shout out to you, brought an incredible book to our attention for this series entitled On Being Unreasonable, Breaking the Rules and Making Things Better. And in the book, the author advocates for embracing unreasonableness as a necessary approach to combat rigid societal norms. By being unreasonable, individuals can resist oppressive systems and foster environments where resilience is not only about surviving, but thriving. Come on, you heard it before. Surviving, not only surviving, but we're thriving, okay? Through radical kindness and systemic change. Keep that in mind as we power through these next few weeks.
I love that. I just got distracted by Nancy's heathenry that became Heathery. That was hilarious. I love autocorrect. All right. So throughout these conversations, I want us all to kind of walk back through our own past, you know, while also reinterrogating history to investigate the ways we've earned our crown. We're going to be exploring ways that we should realize that we've been becoming unfuckwithable the whole time, you know, exploring ways we've picked up the broken pieces in the past and what ways those experiences may have contributed to our current growth and strength. You know, a major question in this series will be, can you find the beauty in resilience? One of the things that I found is that resilience is the evidence of responsibility. If I'm responsible for it, I'm not looking for an excuse. I'm looking for a way. I got to say that again. If I'm responsible for it, and it's my choice, like I've chosen to be responsible for it. Nobody else put me here. This is something I chose to be responsible for. Nobody else said, hey, you got to do this.
Right.
I chose to do this. If I'm responsible for it, I'm not looking for an excuse. I'm looking for a way. And therefore, every excuse has to get the fuck out of my way. We don't make excuses. We make adjustments. And so the question boils down to, what am I willing to be responsible for?
You know what song I thought about?
What?
Move, trick.
Get out the way. Get out the way. Yes. Yes, man. Oh, my goodness. Oh, yeah. Them MLK banquets, man. Yikes. That was actually when I was doing the Black Non-Believer series on the channel. That was actually one of the things that when I was reading through that survey that somebody mentioned, is that it's impossible to go to anything that's celebrating Black history that doesn't get turned into church. It's like it ain't Black history, it's like Christian history. You know what I'm saying? It's like, God damn it. All right. So choosing to be responsible. So to pull on this, to kind of give you a little insight into me, because I know I don't tell everybody to be like me, but I'll try to kind of let you know why I am the way that I am. And so I am a highly responsible person. Like, my life has been marred by people not being willing to be responsible, right? So I think I've shared this story before. My grandmother was killed by my grandfather in front of a crowd of people. He stabbed her to death, and nobody did anything, which is called the bystander effect. It's a real thing, bystander effect, because nobody could find within themselves the responsibility to do something. And just like my grandmother, I'm watching people in this community. I'm watching people in this world. I'm watching people in this nation. I'm watching people in this society watch other people be harmed and choose not to do anything about it. You know what I'm saying? So I'm here to do something about it. Y'all feel me? Mm-hmm. So, and it's been like this for me for a while. Like, I can remember a time when I was actually in high school. There was a riot that took place. The police came and started throwing people every which way. I felt the need to actually say, okay, let me get everybody's numbers. Let me call their parents. Like, the big point is, I felt responsible. I figured out about myself years ago. It's almost impossible for me to know something and not feel responsible to do something. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And so both individually and as a community, being unfuckwithable involves cultivating strength and independence in a way that aligns with our personal and collective principles and goals. It's about creating a buffer against external negativity, which I saw some of that in the chat, but we've been creating these buffers, getting them buffed the fuck up out of here, creating those buffers against external negativity through a combination of self-awareness, internal development, and mutual support, which enables a person or a group of people to thrive according, watch this, because this has been a major thing in the majority of our conversations, to thrive according to their own definitions of success and fulfillment without undue external influence. So one of the things that y'all know that I'm really big about is I don't get to decide what success is for somebody else.
Yeah.
I can decide what success is for me. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But I cannot decide what success is for someone else. This is a part of our inhumanity. When we take the world we see and try to impose it on others,
Right.
it's a very dangerous thing. So our key objective in this conversation is to explore the concept of being unfuckwithable by examining historical and contemporary examples of resilience in marginalized communities. Throughout this conversation, we're going to be laying the groundwork for internalizing authenticity as the cornerstone of personal power. Since this is what is traditionally known as King Weekend, we thought it would be appropriate to open up this conversation using the backdrop of the struggle of Black people in this country in the context of our theme. Now, to start off, we have Marcus Garvey, Malcolm X, and Martin Luther King Jr., who we're going to talk about a little bit. They were pivotal figures in the struggle for civil rights and self-determination, and they embodied the principles of being unreasonable in the face of unjust societal norms, being unfuckwithable in their unwavering commitment to their causes, and deserving the metaphorical crown me for their leadership, responsibility, and profound impact. And quite honestly, if Garvey had not been foiled by the collaborative efforts of the NAACP and the FBI, he might have literally been crowned. That was damn sure what he was working for.
Working on.
Yes.
And so Marcus Garvey, he sort of displayed that he exalted self-sufficiency and self-reliance. And so Garvey promoted the idea of economic independence and self-reliance for Black people. His unreasonable approach involved rejecting the prevailing racial norms of dependency or inferiority and advocating for the industriousness of the overlooked underclass. And so we found that Garvey's message to Africans in the 1920s is a necessary and profound message to all humans in the 2020s.
Yes,
how about
indeed.
that? Because social elitism has fashioned such an inferiority complex and dependency syndrome in so many of us that we are literally allowing the few to ride the backs of many.
And see, that's why a major part of being unfuckwithable is getting the fuck up in the face of everyone who says you shouldn't or you can't. You know what I'm saying?
Come on. And so the lesson here, Garvey teaches the importance of envisioning a grand, sometimes seemingly unreasonable future to elevate a community. His legacy shows that leaderships can evolve, setting seemingly unattainable goals that challenge the status quo and inspire widespread movement. And to be clear, there has not been a movement people that came anywhere near the strength of Garvey's in the short amount of time that he did it as well.
Right. Absolutely. Absolutely. And in my mind, anything other than this is a full frontal assault on agency, autonomy, and authenticity. And it just kind of really hit this again. The biggest thing, the biggest message that Garvey had that I think is absolutely critical for this idea of being unfuckwithable is coming to that place of learning what self-sufficiency and self-reliance means for you. I think one of the biggest disappointing things that I see, even in the secular community, is that there's this overemphasis on what other people should be doing as opposed to what we could be doing. I want to say that again. There is an overemphasis on what other people should be doing as opposed to what we could be doing. Yes, other people should be doing a lot of things, but you have no control over them, but you do have control over you. And what I have learned, and it sometimes breaks my heart, is that most of us get into this place where we don't even believe we're capable of creating change. So we have literally given the power away. We've said, no, these are the only people who can do it. Only they can fix it. I can't do nothing. Little old me. You are like literally dehumanizing yourself, robbing yourself of capacity. And as long as that's the way you think, as long as that is the way you think, move, and operate, you will always be fucking oppressed. As long as your way of moving in the world is other people has to fix my problems, you are begging to be oppressed. Are y'all ready for this? Man, I hope this is good. Man, so I had to hit that. So the next one we're going to hit is Malcolm X.
And Malcolm X, he was the best at being direct and unapologetic. Come on. His philosophy of self-defense against oppression and his criticism of the civil rights movement strategy of passive resistance highlighted his
unfuckwithable nature.
Come on. He was unflinching, honest, and direct in his speech, never allowing external criticisms to sway his principles, while also allowing himself to evolve with new information, which we all should be doing.
Yes. And see, and what I loved about Malcolm as a major part of being unfuckwithable is being willing to create safeguards to protect that which you love. You know, and in all honesty, I've learned to expect no one to protect what's necessary for me. I've learned, like, should it be that way? No, shouldn't be that way, but it is. And for me to pretend like it isn't is for me to leave the things that are important to me unprotected. So I've learned to expect no one to protect the things that are important to me. If they do, that's helpful. That's nice. It's the cherry on the fucking top. But if nobody else shows up, I promise you, I got mine. I take that as my responsibility. Hashtag crown me, motherfucker. You know, this is one of the many ways that I am becoming unfuckwithable. I love that, Santos. This is how you adapt to any situation, right? I love it. I love it.
Yeah, and so the lesson we learned from Malcolm is that Malcolm's life underscores the power of standing firm in one's understanding, even when you are unpopular or criticized. His resolve and ability to maintain his course in the face of adversity demonstrates the strength that comes from inner conviction and moral clarity.
Absolutely. And that's why I like using different people, because you can learn something from different people. You can pull something from different people. And so before we dive into this next one, I have to admit that since I was a child, I was never a fan of Dr. King. I always felt that much of his words were more poetic than prolific. I have major problems with his political legacy, which is ultimately Jesse Jackson and Al Sharpton. It was only after traversing through Black nationalism, Pan-Africanism, and ultimately global humanism that allowed me to wrestle enough with King's evolution as a person that I was finally able to find a way to situate him in a place of respect in my mind. I had to distinguish between the King that America quotes and the King that America killed, because upon closer inspection, they're not the same person. I had to separate myself from the America that King, there it is. I had to separate myself from America's King and acclimate myself to the King that was ready to die, the unfuckwithable King. You know, the King that America killed was a man that was genuinely coming to terms with the failure of rhetoric and leaning into the necessity of relevance.
Yeah. So with that in mind, we're going to present what King is most known for, highlight the flaw in that, and then present the things that we think King's legacy lends to this conversation. And so We're focusing on the global emphasis on progress. King, as you know, he tended to preach non-violent resistance, of what we call it. And King's strategy of non-violent resistance was considered unreasonable by many of his contemporaries, who saw it as too passive and unlikely to affect change.
All right, so nonviolent resistance is typically the legacy of King. When people talk about King, they talk about his nonviolent resistance. When people talk about King, they say King was nonviolent, Malcolm was violent. That is not accurate. To be accurate, Dr. King modeled passive resistance, not nonviolent resistance. That is a very, very, very different thing. Dr. King did not model nonviolent resistance, as many of his events were marred with intentional, expected violence. Dr. King instead used violence as a strategy to put the inhumanity of others on display. That is the difference. I constantly remind people, like, the only time you've ever seen Malcolm, here's the thing, if you go back through Malcolm's history and you go back through Martin's history, only one of those people's history ends up with leading people to their death. Only one of those people's history leading other people to be violently beaten and bloody. Malcolm's doesn't. Malcolm's idea was self-defense, that if somebody is trying to kill me, I have a right to stop them. To call him violent is dishonest. It is dishonest. Sorry, I had to do that. Got to set that record straight. You don't ever see Malcolm attacking anybody. You don't ever see Malcolm. The one time you see Malcolm mobilizing a crowd of people in real time, it is after police have horribly beaten a man, and Malcolm peacefully walks a whole crowd of people to the precinct and demands that the man be released and taken to the hospital. King ain't never did nothing like that. All right, so I'm just throwing that out there. I'm not trying to bring King down, because we're going to talk about King here. But that's not the legacy that we like to platform. The nonviolent part, I personally consider that a failure. But I won't sit on that horse for too long. There's another part of Dr. King's legacy that we'd really like to highlight, and that is his global perspectives and his emphasis on economic justice.
Yes, King's philosophy extended beyond American civil rights, embracing global struggles. King strongly emphasized the importance of economic justice and initiated campaigns to address the root causes of poverty, with multiracial coalition advocating for economic and human rights for all disadvantaged peoples, regardless of race or other social labels.
And this is actually probably one of the biggest, this is probably the things that I think is probably the most dishonest thing about the way that people use Dr. King. Because they use Dr. King as America's hero. Mm-hmm. He was not America's hero. Dr. King was concerned about global humanity. Mm-hmm. You know, and I think that's one of the major flaws of humanism in America, is that it seems to be by far and large American humanism, not global humanism. American humanists seem to be willing just at any moment to just overlook the humanity of other people, yeah, if they're not Americans. Well, that's not happening here, so that's a peripheral issue. Mm-hmm. Wow. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And these are the people who try to convince me that I shouldn't be a Black nationalist. You know, that, oh, you shouldn't be a nationalist, but you're an American nationalist. Right. Help me understand. We're either anti-nationalism on all fronts, or we want everybody to have an equal stance. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I say it's either Black nationalism for me or globalism.
And notice the slogan, America's slogan is always "God bless America," whether it's a sports game you're watching, whether it's politics, education, in every school, and a lot of churches have the flag up. And why think about, why is it never God bless humanity? God bless the world. God bless the planet Earth. God bless the universe. It's never inclusive.
Never inclusive.
Why is that?
It's because these are the same people who think the highest form of love is loving your neighbor instead of loving everybody.
Everyone. Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like this is what Chris said. They say, love your neighbor. This is the most beautiful thing ever said. How about just love everybody? How about just love, period? Just how about that? Like, damn, shit. Like, why we got to stop at the neighbor? Like, oh my goodness. Yeah. But this is the reality. Like, so this is why we are purposefully BridgeCity Global. We are purposefully BridgeCity Global because we want to make it clear that no, if we're going to be in this, we have to be global humanists. I don't want to be a nationalistic humanist. If I can't be a black nationalist, I shouldn't be allowed to be an American nationalist. Right. You know what I'm saying? No, it's either globalism or nothing. You know what I'm saying? So we're concerned with the whole thing, and that's something you can pull from Dr. King. All right. The passive resistance thing, you know, hey, I wouldn't advise it. I wouldn't advise it because this is what I will tell you for sure. This is what I will tell you for damn sure. Everything we were asking for in the 60s, we are still fucking asking for it today. So guess what that means? That strategy failed, man. Like that's that superstitious thinking we got to get rid of. Recognize when someone is praising a failed strategy. No, this shit didn't work. If this shit didn't,
see the results.
Come on, I can look at the results now. The best we got out of this is Jesse Jackson and Al fucking Sharpton. No, what the fuck? I want a refund. Yeah, I want a refund. You know, like shit. But okay, I'm sorry. So King maintained a steadfast commitment to his own evolutionary process, despite immense personal and public pressure to shrink in the face of increasing aggression. Now, I'm one of those people who I say, I don't believe King started as a good person. I was not a fan. I told y'all I was not a fan of King. I knew King's history, and not only King's denomination was not a fan of King. You know what I'm saying? Like when they came to vote, they wanted to put him up to be the president of their organization. Them motherfuckers got in a fist fight to keep him from being the president. That's how much they ain't like that motherfucker. You know? King had to be begged to participate in the civil rights movement. And that's what I don't like about because Rosa Parks' story gets overshadowed by King. I bet y'all didn't know that Rosa Parks carried a pistol with her everywhere she went. I bet you didn't know that. I bet you didn't know that Rosa Parks had a shotgun that she kept in the house by her bedside just in case a motherfucker would. I bet you didn't know that. No, Rosa Parks didn't have to be begged to participate. It was her life. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And so we take her story and then give him the credit for it. That's not good. That's not good. No, he had to be begged to participate. He had to be paid to participate. You know what I'm saying? It was only after he got involved that he began to see what he was really dealing with, because he had to be educated by people like Bayard Rustin, A. Philip Randolph, and Stokely Carmichael, known as Kwame Ture. These people had to set his ass straight. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. This is why he was such a fucking philanderer. You know, like, but that's the thing. On King Day, rest in peace to whatever the fuck, you know. But I said all this stuff because I don't believe in deifying anybody. If we're going to tell the story, we're going to tell the whole story. You know what I'm saying? Especially if the goal is to learn from it and to grow. I want the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the fucking truth. Abstractions are useless to me. I need to be dealing with reality so I know what the fuck I'm building on. You know what I'm saying? So what I am trying to do in this moment is to give you a version of King that you actually understand. You know what I'm saying? That I have a dream shit, throw that shit out the way. Half of that shit was actually based on Freemasonries and Eastern Star shit. Take that whole speech, throw it in the fucking trash. All right? It was bullshit. That's not what we was asking for. We was not asking to hold people's hands. We was asking for people to stop killing us. You see how that shit goes? It's a fucking red herring. It's a fucking red herring. Throw that shit out the window. No, the king that you want to respect is the king that they killed. The king that was worthy of death. The king that they said, this motherfucker gotta go. Because that's the one that became unfuckwithable. That's the one that no matter how much J. Edgar Hoover threatened his ass, he said, I don't give a damn. Show my wife the tapes. Let everybody else hear I got to stand on business and do what I came here to do because I owe this to my people. That's how the fuck you become unfuckwithable. This is good stuff right here. His emerging perspective was securely internal, rooted in a deep philosophical and sociological framework that made him unfuckwithable in the face of external chaos. King demonstrated a willingness to wrestle with the failure of his own strategies, which is made clear in his last speeches and his last conversation with Harry Belafonte. Last conversation with Harry Belafonte, many people know this quote. He said, "I felt like I'm integrating my people into a burning house." And let's tell the truth, aren't we all feeling the fucking burn today? And I ain't talking about Bernie Sanders. You know, in one of his last speeches, Remaining Awake Through a Great Revolution, which he gave on March 31st, 1968 at the National Cathedral in Washington, D.C., in this sermon, he emphasized the urgency of the times, comparing it to Rip Van Winkle sleeping through the American Revolution. He warned against remaining complacent in the face of rapid societal change. King discussed the interconnectedness of the world and stressed the importance of global kinship. And we still ain't got on that. But that's why you killed him. You know what I'm saying? Because his message went global. But if you go back to Malcolm, see, most people don't know Malcolm like I know Malcolm. I know Malcolm. If you listen to me a few times, you will hear Malcolm because I've studied the fuck out of that man. But if you pay attention, nobody wanted Malcolm dead until he started talking about global human rights.
Global. Wow.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But the same thing with Fred Hampton. Nobody wanted Fred Hampton dead until he said, you know what? Give me the white folks, give me the Mexicans, give me the gay folks. We're going to all come together and build a rainbow coalition. Mm-hmm. And then somebody said, now this motherfucker got to go. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Oh, my goodness. It's the idea of global kinship, global community. And I've been to the mountaintop, which is one of my favorite speeches from Dr.
And
King.
it's on YouTube.
And it is on YouTube. He did it on April 3rd, 1968 at Mason Temple in Memphis, Tennessee. In this speech, I don't think Black people have listened to enough. Because this man showed his ass in this speech. He preached his ass off, and I've been to the mountaintop. He preached his ass off. He said, I think we've got to the place, as Ralph Abernathy have said, where we are scratching and it's not itching and laughing when ain't shit funny. He didn't say it that way, but that's how I'm saying it. I'm paraphrasing. You know what I'm saying? Because what he was highlighting is that we've gotten so caught up in the fucking sensationalism. Everybody's having a good time while the fucking house is burning down around you. In this speech, and it's famous for its prophetic elements, as King seemed to foreshadow his own death, he spoke to support the striking sanitation workers in Memphis, advocating for economic justice and human dignity. He called for unity, economic actions, and protests while reflecting on the history of the civil rights movement. He concluded with a visionary moment where he looked over and saw the promised land, and he said, I may not get there with you, but I know that we as a people, that's what he said, will get there together. Like, I'm not king. No, I'm gonna get there with you. We getting there together, goddammit. I'm not about to die for no goddamn body. We getting there together.
And that means everyone, every single one of us has to take on the mantle. So just as we take on the responsibility of ourselves, our children, the survival of being on this land and this environment, we all have a responsibility to contribute in some way. And that contribution can be on different levels.
Yes.
You may have some people who say, well, I want to just contribute to the entertainment side. Okay, but don't speak on politics.
Yeah, come on now.
Okay, stay where you study. Now, if you go and study, you can evolve because there's some people who are polymaths, like Benjamin Banneker, who can do multiple things. Triple H.
Oh, Hubert Henry Harrison, not the other. Hubert Henry Harrison.
He stay on the wrestling thing. We like
but that's a good point, because that's been a major issue, especially in American politics, which has been just driven down by just like literally killed with propaganda. It is like we no longer care who the person is that's saying shit. Like, are you qualified to say this shit?
Yes.
Oh my goodness.
And we just run with it.
Just
but
run with it.
Even the information you hear here, we don't say, oh, just believe us. We know, pay us $500 because we're going to give you the juice. No, go learn. Go look up the names you're hearing. Whatever you're watching, research what these people are talking about so you can come up with your own evaluation. Do you understand that?
Let me tell you something. People who are truly great, you know what they do? They make other people great.
Yes.
People who are truly great, they don't say, hey, come follow me. People who are truly great, they don't say, hey, come worship me. Hey, come serve me. Hey, come be my fan. People who are truly great, do you know what they do? They show you how to be great because great people need great people. I'm about to say that again. Great people need great people. So when you find people who have truly tapped into their own authenticity, their own sense of self, and they know who the fuck they are, they're not looking for followers. They're not looking for fans. Everybody they see, they're trying to set them motherfuckers on fire. I want you to know the greatness that's in you so that we can conquer this fucking shit together. Do y'all feel me in here?
Yes. And that'll make you reevaluate the circle. Who
come on now. Circle check. What Les Brown used to say, only quality people, man.
Only quality people. We're supposed to be making each other better, okay?
This is why I fucking love this community. Like, there's not a day that goes by that somebody isn't reaching out to me, pushing me, pulling me, doing something, because great people need great people. We have great people in our community. We got Dale, we got Kyle, we got Muttley, we got Kurt, we got Melissa, we got Sharon, we got great people, we got Cherry, we got great people who are not just sitting on the sidelines, but people who are trying to make some shit happen, even while they are going through things on their own lives, and yet they're still showing up and pushing through. That's greatness, man. That's greatness. I'm sorry.
And when you operate in what we're talking about now, when you say, okay, I'm learning something here, let me go research it for myself and let me see what they're talking about. Okay, these people are trying to help me grow and be better, and they're trying to grow and be better. Guess what you learn to do, lovely people?
Come on.
You learn to give people grace.
Oh, yes.
You learn to not spread gossip just because you hear something about somebody who you once admired or enjoyed. You understand that I didn't like that person anyway, but I give them grace because you understand people make mistakes. So if you learn something about someone, even something about me, guess what, darling? I know my past. I don't need you to tell it to me. Okay. Okay. I
can tell it better than you can.
Yes, I want to throw that in there because we do that to people. You learn one thing about somebody's past.
Great people make it. Yes.
When they're teenagers or when they're in their 20s, in their 30s, or even yesterday, and you go and demonize people.
Come on now.
Do you understand? And we have to learn that you have to separate. People can still be intelligent. People can still give advice and have expertise, but they still live their lives each and every day. So yes, you may run into a wild person who in their personal life are doing something crazy. You don't have to agree with everybody in order to still listen to them, right? So operate in grace. I encourage you to watch how you treat people.
Watch how you treat people.
And that's the ultimate lesson. So King's ability to wear the crown of leadership came from his unwavering dedication to his principles and his strategies, teaching that true leadership often involves holding to one's course, even when it seems counterintuitive or when facing significant opposition, because opposition comes in your life whether you're sitting quiet in your home or not. People talk about you when you ain't even doing anything. So listen, forget opposition. Let people talk. They're going to do it anyway. Okay.
That's what being unfuckwithable means. It's another way to say unfuckwithable. Watch this. Is unbothered.
Unbothered.
You know what they say? Shoot lie. Don't bother me. Like, you can't bother me. Like I am in a place where I am unbothered in my life. Like what? That's why the trolls that jump in the comments and shit, I just be like, poor fella, because you're not gonna bother me. You're not capable of bothering me. Honestly, you know what? I don't mind being the fucking villain in your story. I am fucking unbothered. Oh my goodness. I don't know if y'all remember, it was one of the worst movies ever made, but I remember it. It was Street Fighter. Street Fighter was made. Chun-Li was chasing Bison down this whole time, wanted to kill him because he killed her family when she was a little girl. And Chun-Li showed up and Bison, and she was like, I'm gonna kill you. And do you remember me? And he was like, oh, to you, that must have been the most important day of your life. For me, it was just a Tuesday.
It was just
fucking unbothered. I'm unfuckwithable. Do you hear me?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, Buckley, even though my life is a hot mess, I'm still able to help, advise others, and be there for them. Yes. I love that, Buckley. And I'm probably like, even though I'm only 38, y'all, I'm probably like auntie or old grandma, because I'm like, oh, sweet baby, you talking about me? Yeah. Oh, come tell me what you talking about. What I do?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you must have, so I'm like that.
You don't want to tell me you talking about me because there's a whole comedian inside of me, and I'm gonna go there. I'm gonna make your ass feel like shit and enjoy it, because God damn it, like don't do that shit. No, what Nene Leaks should say, don't come for me unless I send for you. If I didn't send for you, don't you bring your ass this way. Because I promise you, I'm a whole beast with my words, man. This vocabulary it's on point. It's on point.
But you know what? I really do want people to get better, because there's a lot of people hurting out there. Oh, yeah. And we know hurt people, but that shouldn't be an excuse to put someone else down. Mm-hmm. And you have to remember, in order to lift someone up, you don't have to put another person down. We do it all the time with musicians, artists. Just remember, you can uplift someone else while uplifting yourself and others as well. So
that's another thing, and that's another thing that we just have to get to. You know what I'm saying? We have to get to as a society. It's another part of our sociological evolution where we have got to shift from this idea of punishing people.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. We've got to shift from this idea of punishing people. And this is why I don't use words like evil. You know what I'm saying? I don't like shit like that, because the moment that word is used, we give ourselves an excuse to dehumanize someone. Yeah. The moment we get to call somebody evil, we give ourselves that excuse. And so I don't use that word. This is why I don't have other people's enemies. This is why, I don't care who your big bad enemy is. I don't have any enemies. All I have is a planet filled with sick people. Yeah. That's all I have. Ain't not one of them evil to me. They're all sick. They've all been impacted by life in the same ways that I have. And I don't know about you, but it's really hard to go through this shit without getting sick. It is really hard to go through life without being contaminated. It is really hard to go through life without getting those scars. It is really hard to go through life without being corrupted. So just like my wife was just talking, when I see people, I just see them in grace, man. That's all I got. That's all I got, because I know what this life is fucking like. Yeah. And I don't know what the fuck they're dealing with. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Oh, yeah. Man.
And so we just want to point out, this is getting good, y'all. Good. We didn't mean to flow that way, but it's much needed. Needed conversation, much needed talk. But this global perspective of Kings underscores the interconnectedness of justice movements worldwide, and critiques the power structures that extend beyond racial issues. Yes. So framing King as a prominent of global peace and equity would be accurate.
That's right. And that's one of the reasons why I do. Like, I have no qualms about telling people that I lean towards Black nationalism, but my preference is globalism, because that's the thing now. Like, I'm gonna be authentically me. I'm gonna show up, and I'm gonna be me, and I'm gonna tell you what's exactly on my mind, because I ain't scared of nobody. In the words of one of my favorite comedians, I ain't scared of you motherfuckers. That's where it's at.
Come on, man.
That's where I said I ain't scared of you motherfuckers. You know what I'm saying? This is it. This is the fire this California can get behind. I love that. Oh, man. All right. So here's a few ways we can integrate some of these lessons that we pulled from these historical figures: Marcus Garvey, Malcolm X, and Dr. Martin Luther King. The 3 M's: the Martin, the Marcus, and the Malcolm. And somebody mentioned Dr. John Henrik Clarke. I think that was Sharon. Oh, you just have no idea how important Dr. Clark is to me. Like, oh, he gave me the freedom to be an atheist. Like, it was him, you know?
He was bold.
Oh man, he was so bold. Okay. And I actually hate that many times when they do stuff, when they do the memes and shit, the GIFs, that they put him with other people, because a lot of times that undermines who he really was. Like, he was a real academic. Like, oh my goodness. All right, but ways to integrate these lessons. Number one, learn how to be unreasonable in vision. So like Garvey, we encourage thinking beyond the conventional, embracing broad visions that may initially seem impossible. Yes, the vision for BridgeCity Global to many people seems initially impossible. Well, just wait till you hear the vision for DLDD World. No. Or just wait till you hear the vision for Together We Can. No, I'm all about audacious, ambitious shit, because we need to be aiming for stuff that's actually going to make a difference. I think the old quote was, shoot for the moon, because even if you miss, you will land among the stars. I realized a long time ago that a major problem in the communities that I've grown up in is that everybody was aiming low. Even when I thought people were aiming high, when I went back and looked, I was like, damn, you aiming low. And you know, and again, I try not to judge people for what they want to be, but at the same time, I'm like, man, if you really knew what you were capable of, you know. So being unreasonable in vision, being unfuckwithable in conviction. No, you can't touch my conviction. Drawing from Malcolm X, embrace a sense of unshakable self-assurance and integrity in beliefs, encouraging individuals in the community to stand firm against external pressure. Somebody called it out. Bernie Mac, you knew it. What Malcolm learned, and this is so good in being. Let me tell you why Malcolm was unfuckwithable. Because he learned how to love himself. Who taught you to hate yourself? Who taught you? See, like, there are so many messages that have been geared towards the Black community that I now realize are for everybody.
Yeah, that's good.
Like, everybody needs that moment in the mirror where you look yourself eye to eye and say, who taught you to hate yourself?
Yeah.
Who taught you to despise yourself? Who taught you that you were unworthy? Who taught you that you weren't enough? Who taught you that you were not capable? Who taught you to hate the way you look? Who told you that you had to change? Like, everybody needs that moment.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? And then from King, we can learn leadership in action. That true leadership is about more than just authority. It's about inspiring change through consistent action and unwavering dedication to principles. And at the end of the day, leadership isn't about leading people. It's about leading yourself.
That's good.
You know what I'm saying?
We should put that.
Because I show up Monday through Friday leading myself. Because we show up every Sunday leading ourselves. Because we create opportunities to partner with everyone, we're leading ourselves to do this. It has created inspiration that has sparked the community across this globe. And the more people who start getting consistent with what they're doing and having that unwavering dedication to principles. There's a song by Alan Stone called Warriors. If you've never heard it, go check that shit out. Because if we do get the budget that I want us to get for Raleigh and we get the full band, that we're performing that shit. But it's like dedication is what's going to lead us, you know? So these three historical figures exemplify how challenging existing conditions and being steadfast in one's convictions can pave the way for significant societal change and personal empowerment, aligning perfectly with the theme of our conversation series. And honestly, after getting through this part, I would love for this series to be a staple at BridgeCity Global.
Yeah.
And that every year we present this conversation from a different perspective.
Yeah.
I would love to have members to host speaking from the perspectives of the Mexican liberation or the Cuban or the Haitian independence, Haitian, for some of you who didn't know, the women's suffrage movement, or even the pride or gender and sexually marginalized communities. Because from my perspective, the most powerful thing we can do is to empower each other to be unfuckwithable, pulling on our own stories and the stories of our cultural or social predecessors to find strength, strategy, and solidarity with global humanity at large. Ooh, this stuff is good. So now we're going to define being unfuckwithable. Man, I love this. I love these conversations. So basically, it is being unapologetically you, not apologizing for being you, not being ashamed for being you. It's being naked and unashamed. Here I am, stretch marks and all. Yep, I know I'm a man, and yes, I got titties. I used to be fat, bitch. This is what it is. This is what it is. This is what it is. This is about knowing who you are and owning it unapologetically and unashamedly.
And that is not toning yourself down because you fear of being too much, which I used to do sometimes, especially in my younger years, when you're around people who I had people who get offended from me reading. I used to read the dictionary before practice. So I was always in the practice. I was dancing, doing gymnastics. I played basketball. I was an athlete. So, but in between that, I love to learn, and I was always reading a book. And so when I was doing that, I noticed people get offended, like, oh, you think you know all the words. Oh, you reading too much. Why are you over there reading? Look at Nene. They call me Nene if you're close to me. They say, why you over there? And then you start to like, okay, let me down. I don't want anyone to feel like, oh, I'm smarter than them or trying to be. I just want to learn. Your girl just want to know.
Just trying to learn shit.
Yeah. So I'm trying. I always want it to be great within myself. It doesn't have to be better than you. It's like, come on with me. Like
me ain't got shit to do with you. I'm working on me. Like,
yes. So that's my thing. I'm like, if you feel bad about me improving myself, that's a sickness.
Come on.
So I need you to get well.
I
need you to mature. Okay.
I got the medicine.
Because
hey,
we're not stopping for anybody.
That's right.
All right. And also, not pretending to be someone else for the sake of being like more. I don't know if you noticed, but I don't wear makeup. Like I wear lip gloss. I like lipstick, you know.
I don't drop it.
I use the once in a while put on eyeshadow, but you don't see me with all this foundation because I want you to see my face. I have no problem with my face. I'm not going to cover it up. So for those of you, if you do have
we good looking, goddamn. What she's saying, and we don't need no help. We good just like this. Now let me stop.
But even if I wasn't,
and come on, now.
Okay.
That's right. That's
it. Hello, you got Maya Angelou, you got Whoopi Goldberg. Whoopi Goldberg, she don't care what y'all say about her.
I love Whoopi, man.
She walk in it. And so if you're doing things because you don't like yourself, then you want to question, okay, ooh.
Yeah.
Now, if you're doing it just because, no, I love myself, I just want to add some creativity.
Like costumes and shit.
Yeah, that's fine, but make sure you're going down
grounded in yourself.
Right.
Like that message of making sure that you're not hating yourself is something that everybody needs. I thought it was just a black people problem for a longest time. I really did. And the more and more I begin to work with people, I realized, oh shit, everybody out there is struggling from this self-hate. But it's like, if you've been impacted by like this Christian type of religion or any of those Abrahamic faiths, I mean, that's what it basically tells you, to hate your fucking self. Like you're a worm. You're literally as filthy rags. All of your righteousness is. It's like, holy shit, we've done a lot of harm to people.
Come on, I see Twin in the chat. Right, I see Sharon said, "Go Nene." Okay.
Hey, go.
Let's go. Well, we also need to understand and learn not to hide parts of ourselves because we are afraid that we won't be accepted. And acceptance is such a rejection, and acceptance is such a heavy thing for. I see a lot of people, everyone from childhood into adulthood, it doesn't really go away. But understand, love, accept yourself. When you begin to accept yourself, and that may be where you have to walk through, what are my childhood traumas? What is holding me back from accepting myself? Did my parents accept themselves? Did my grandparents, whoever the kids in school? And you got to understand, once you realize that kids will be kids, that there's a lot of immaturity in childhood because you have a lot of people's parents who are immature.
Yeah.
So you understand, don't take their words seriously. Somebody called you ugly. They can barely walk with 2 feet, and they talk talking about somebody else. So you got to understand all of the variables and learn that, what do I love about me?
Yep.
In the mornings, just wake up and maybe write down or look at the chat. What are 5 things I can pull from myself that I love, and start from there. Okay, build from there. But also not staying quiet about your beliefs just to avoid offending someone. And that's me. If you know me, I have an agreeable type of personality where I'm like the middle person. If someone mad at this person, I'm friends with both, and I'm like, oh, come on, guys, let's work it out. But it's okay to stand on business. It's okay to state what you stand on. And so that's why now, even with my husband, it's like, okay, my husband has his thoughts and his revelations and evaluations, and I have my own. And so, you got revelation, and I'm going to tell you my side. And that's why I'm speaking now. Okay. But,
right.
And then we come together. Okay. We come together on one accord. That's how you get on
one accord. Those are biblical words now.
Coming on one accord, right?
That's right.
So also, when you're truly yourself, you're not seeking external validation. The only approval you need is your own.
That's it.
Now we look for others to support, but you don't need approval, even of your parents. Approve of yourself. Okay.
Yep. That's good. That's good.
It's good.
All right. So so you hear it. You don't need anybody and that's real. You really don't need anybody else's approval. That is a major obstacle. Limiting yourself to, well, what will other people think? Will they think this is okay? This is going to keep you from being productive. Everything I do, I don't need anybody's permission to do it. I do it because it's me. It's the thing that I want to do, and I'm okay with that. That's where I've gotten now. So we're going to pull some more from this. We got a little bit more before we wrap up today. Man, this has been good. Man. So we're going to talk a little bit about what being unfuckwithable means for individuals, and then we'll talk about for communities. So one of the things that being unfuckwithable means for individuals is a sense of emotional independence, right?
Yeah.
In this sense, the individual does not rely on external validation or approval to feel content and successful. And that's circling back to what we talked about earlier, is that your success needs to be defined by you. The longer your idea of success is trapped into what other people think about you, the longer you're going to have a difficult time being satisfied with anything. You have to ask yourself, what is success to me? What does that mean for me? And that may likely change. But even when it does, it really needs to be defined by you. One of the biggest problems that I've seen with people is many people are living by a script that they did not write.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
They're living in a world that they have not actually experienced. So they are actually living in this world based off of what other people have told them about the world, but have never engaged it themselves to determine what this world is, And so when you get that sense of emotional independence, you become internally satisfied and secure in your identity and your values. So one of the values that we platform liberally in many of our conversations is that every person should have the grace and space to self-define and self-identify. You know what I'm saying? Oh man, I need you to define who you are and then to identify who you are. You tell me who you are. Don't let me tell you who you are. Don't let society tell you who you are. Don't let your parents tell you who you are. Don't let everybody deserves the grace and space to self-define and self-identify. Everybody has the grace, needs that space like that. I'm a Game of Thrones fan.
Yeah.
I loved Arya's line when they be like, oh, she's going to be a little lady. She said, that's not me.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You need that. You need that space in your life to be able to say that's not me. And so just to kind of hit this is the principle of authenticity. Authenticity is a necessary ingredient for unshakable resolve, And so I do want to kind of present this question a little bit here. And that is, why does inauthenticity make us more vulnerable to external friction or attention. And one of the things that I realized is actually because social politics has crafted a culture where people have full expectations for others to live up to their assumptions. You know?
Yeah.
So like when you go through my comments sometimes, the negative ones are people who are upset that I didn't live up to their assumptions. And mind you, these are people who I don't even know.
You don't know.
I don't know them. They don't know me. And I've literally had people say, well, I thought you would have said this. How the fuck could you have thought that? You don't know me, motherfucker. How could you have thought anything about me at all, you dumbass motherfucker? No. You know, but people do that. Because people, when we meet people, we have developed socio-cultural ideologies. And we kind of talked about this in the series, How to Human, that are basically about what it means to be polite, what it means to be respectable, what it means to be human. And so anytime somebody differentiates or somehow is distinct from something that you're used to or that your social culture paradigm has gotten you used to, gotten you comfortable with, you lean into dehumanizing that other people. That's something we tend to do. It's something we have to check ourselves for. You know, it's like being somewhere and everybody eating fried chicken and everybody pulling out the hot sauce and then somebody put ketchup on their fried chicken. Don't do that. It ain't going in your mouth, goddamn.
Right.
Motherfucker, you have an opinion.
Right.
See, those are things, that's how I check myself. And I literally do that to myself. Like there was one day I saw something about somebody and it was, you know, something going on in their life and it was a celebrity or some shit. And I was getting all into it. And I was like, oh, wait a minute. I don't fucking know these people. Like at all. And the person who's writing this probably doesn't know these people either. Why am I even investing myself in this? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
All right. So that was my part. It's yours.
So those individuals who are unbothered, which we are, who's going to crown this, you also resemble resilience. They possess a strong ability to recover from setbacks and are not easily disturbed or thrown off course by challenges or criticism. Once you're confident and grounded in who you are, you're no longer bothered by who you're not. I love that. And yeah, and so one book I would just suggest you to read was just one of them. It's a book called Relentless, From Good to Great to Unstoppable by Tim S. Grover. And he kind of touches on some of that resilience, and he gives examples of how some of the great athletes, how they show their resilience within the game. And he also equates it to business and life and individuals as well. And if you understand that, hey, I'm going to have some step backs. I may not succeed in an area or with a business or with a plan or what finances, whatever it is. But if I'm alive another day, I have another opportunity to learn. I have another opportunity to grow. And so if you look at what some would deem as failures as lessons, then you can understand that, I can still make it to the test. Because notice in school, your teacher gives you lessons, your teacher gives you quizzes, and you may fail some quiz, right? But she also gives a test. He or she gives a test at the end of the course. And the same for college, or professors will give you some type of examination. So you can fail different things, but that doesn't mean you stop learning. So keep going, keep that ingenuity, keep your strength. And sometimes you have to regroup, right? Sometimes you have to step back a little bit and let me be with myself. Let me clear out the noise and let me hear what I'm thinking and what I'm trying to do. Also, self-reassuredness, a deep-seated confidence that isn't arrogant, but rather grounded in a realistic assessment of one's abilities and worth. Resolving the issue of identity often unleashes limitations from our capacity. And so one of the many reasons that we champion conversations around personal growth, that is that we are convinced that most people are absolutely sleeping on their own abilities. Okay, too long, and are in a need of safe spaces that help them cultivate the confidence without the pressure of perfection. Now, let me tell you, there once was a time when I wouldn't get up here and be talking on Darante's thing. He had to, at one point he had to encourage me, yo, no, it's, use your voice, it's your time, you can do it. He pushed me on out there because I'm like, I don't need to be on stage talking or, grabbing the mic or anything. I'll just do a personal mentoring or something like that. But you have to understand some things that you think you can't do, you should be doing.
Yeah. 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 Well, it's literally, which kind of brings us to this next part. It's literally, you have to figure out the things that you need to be doing to get where you want to go.
Yeah.
Like if there is an outcome that you want to get to, you're not going to get there without doing the things that you need to do to get there.
Yeah.
And that's where so many people sit. Like they're like, one day I'm going to be this. And I'm like, not if you don't do this. You've got to do this to get to that.
Get there. Mm-hmm.
And so which brings us to this next point, which is the peace and contentment. So part of being unfuckwithable as an individual is achieving a state where external chaos does not disrupt your inner peace, which allows you to remain focused on your goals and values without succumbing to anger, frustration, or despair. And so there's two things that I want to share here that I kind of lean into. The first one is what I call contemporary stoicism. It's my version of stoicism. And that is, there is no utility. This is something that I learned, and there is no utility in living in the world as it should be.
Yeah.
There is no utility in living in the world as it should be. Only as it is. For a long part of my life, I tried to live in the world as I thought the world should be. That shit was useless. It's only when I start paying to what the world was, as it is, start treating the world as it is. And it's through navigating what is that we can strategically cultivate what could be. Should be, I don't know what the fuck that is. Like should be only exists in a world where it has already been predefined. And we do not live in that world. We do not live in a world with a creator. So there is no should be. There is only what could be. Oh man, Boy, if you're having a problem finding information on Dr. King, that's easy to find, especially on January 19th. All right, so the other one is contemporary pragmatism, and that is a focus on things that work. Simple form, focus on things that work, extended toward a desired outcome, right? So a major part of my peace and my contentment is I'm very clear on what I have influence over and what I don't have influence over. And I think I kind of mentioned last week maybe that many people spend way too much time focusing on shit that's horrible for their mental health. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And then I wondering why they're always depressed. And I'm like, well, for whatever fucking reason, you keep reading Elon Musk's and Donald Trump's tweets. And I'm like, you could stop at any fucking given moment because you doing that is actually not helping any fucking thing. Yeah. And that's the biggest red herring that I see in the secular community. People act like literally sharing memes is doing shit. So everybody feels like they're a Twitter warrior by sharing a whole bunch of depressing information, and then are still confused why so many people are like, why can't I find this? Why am I so depressed? Why? Because this is the shit you're focusing on. This is what you're focused on. And I'm like, no, focus on the stuff that helps you. Focus on the things that work, Yeah. And then in the context of an emerging community, let's highlight a few things. The first one is community cohesion and solidarity, right? So if the community is unfuckwithable, that means the community operates with a strong sense of unity and support among its members, which shields it from external criticisms or pressure that may seek to undermine its values or existence. And so what I would like for us to get is you can't fuck with this unity. You want it to be like that. You can't fuck with this unity, which is why which actually requires building relationships that are stronger than shallow allegiances and assumptions. As a community, I would love for us to get rooted in the idea of caring for people because they're people, period.
And the second one for emerging secular community is it lends to cultural resilience. The community is robust enough to withstand societal pressures to conform to mainstream religious or social norms. It fosters an environment where questioning and open dialogue are encouraged. For instance, we are people-centric here. We are progressive thinking here. We are also life-affirming here.
And so not only do we get that collective resilience out of it, but we are cultural resilience. We also get that collective confidence, right? So there is a shared confidence in the community's mission and the clarity of its cause, which is not easily shaken by external dissent or disapproval. So instead, we're building. So for us, we're building community beyond superstition. That's our mission. A major part of that is we want to make sure that we're cultivating or contributing to the development of healthy people. And that is people who are capable of valuing their own capacity. That's what healthy people are to me. People who can look at themselves and know who they are, and know what their value is, know how they can contribute, and then healthy relationships, which are relationships that are based on mutual respect, understanding, and benefit, and then healthy outcomes. And that's an audacious world where everybody's okay. Like that's me. The world that I'm trying to see, this big, impossible vision that I have in the world, is just this audacious world where everybody's okay. Yeah. Oh, I love it. I love it.
And that last one is self-sufficiency. The community develops its own resources, networks, and support to be less dependent on outside forces that may not have its best interests at heart. And this includes creating educational, emotional, economic systems that support its members independently of the broader societal structures. So it is critical that we see the value in ourselves as a growing community to not only meet the needs of our community, but to produce sustainable change in the world that we live in. That's the ultimate goal. We also need to be able to understand how today's collective decisions have the potential to impact tomorrow's collective outcomes.
I love it. And to conclude this conversation, and I can't believe we made it through all these notes because this was literally 9 pages of notes. But we're going to drop a few questions in the Sunday Sessions channel on Discord to hopefully generate some community conversation after the session. And one of the things that we really want all of us to be thinking about is, what does unfuckwithable mean to you? And we really want you to think about that in the context of your self-worth and also in the context of community power. We're going to drop a group exercise in that chat as well, where one of the things that I would like for our community to do is to share some personal definitions of unfuckwithable. What are your personal definitions, and where you've seen it modeled, or even if you've seen it modeled? You know what I'm saying? I mainly saw it modeled on television. I didn't see it in real life. I had to become like one of the first unfuckwithable people I'd ever seen in real life. On television, I saw it in Vernon John's, in the Vernon John story, played by James Earl Jones. Vernon John was the pastor of, I forget the name of the church, but it was the church that Dr. King was the pastor of before Dr. King got there. James Vernon was too radical, so they kicked him out and chose Dr. King. That tells you a little bit something there. Dr. King was the lesser, but James Vernon was unfuckwithable. Uncle Phil, to me, in Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, motherfucker was unfuckwithable. You know what I'm saying? Like I didn't see it in real life, but I'd be very interested if you could share what it means to you in the context of self-worth and community power, and then to share where you've seen it modeled, or if you've seen it modeled. And that could be historical figures, it can be community leaders, family members, or maybe you're like me. If you was a latchkey kid, maybe you saw it on television. And then just some individual reflection. I'll tell you, we're going to be doing homework in a lot of these. Write down one area of your life where you want to become more unfuckwithable. Where you want to say, in this area right here, I don't want nobody to be able to touch me. I don't want nobody to be able to tell me shit. when it comes to this. Pick your area to work on and say, no, this area I am increasing my unfuckwithableness. Maybe it's parenting, maybe it's cooking, maybe it's your career, maybe it's something with your art, maybe it's something in the way that you communicate people, maybe it's a habit, whatever it is, write it down. And then a good action step throughout this entire series of the next 4 weeks is to keep a resilience journal. I was gonna try to make one, but my time didn't give me what I needed. I need another fucking job. I mean that. Oh my God. I almost quit this week. No long story. But keep a resilience journal. I guess I'm not that unfuckwithable, right? But for the next 4 weeks, start paying close attention to moments where you feel tested and start paying attention to how you respond.
That's good.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so the journey we're embarking on at BridgeCity Global is groundbreaking, right? We're not just creating spaces, we're intentionally cultivating a revolution, a community rooted in progressive thought, people-centric values, and a life-affirming ethos. This isn't merely about gathering or growing. It's a transformative movement aiming to forge a society that is equitable and forward-thinking. But this community's growth and vibrancy depend on your active involvement, your connection to the vision, your participation, and your belief in the power of collective action are all crucial. Whether it's through watching and sharing our videos, contributing through donations, or engaging in our discussions, your actions propel us forward. You are the catalyst for spreading this crucial message that this world urgently needs to hear. As we wrap up today's conversation, as always, I'm inviting you to take a definitive step in this journey. Engage with us. Contribute in ways that only you can. Together, we're not merely dreaming of a better future, we're actively constructing it. If you're prepared to step up and be counted in a community of progressive thinkers, of people who champion life beyond the constraints of conventional beliefs, then signal your presence. Type "I am here" in the chat if you're ready to join our wonderful community. I think it's wonderful. I think it's dope. I honestly think it's the dopest community out here. And if you're ready, why not join us? Why not become a part of what we're doing? Why not become a part of the work? Why not get involved? Join our Discord campus. And then as soon as we have our volunteer teams in place, the way this is going to work, we're going to start meeting folk right after these sessions, man, and having a good time. And then, man, that's it. We made it to the end. All right.
We made it to the end. All right. And again, thank you.
I'll do the support because I want to hit some new things in there, and so I'll let you do the closing.
All right.
And by the way, for those of you who want to sign up to help us host on Sundays, we need people to do these openings, these news. Some of you may be able to do some music for us. Hint, hint, Susanna. Just throwing that out there. Still there. And definitely helping with the support and closing.
Check your Discord messages.
Oh, yeah, definitely. You got to check them Discord messages, man. All right. So again, of course, thank you all for being a part of this community and these conversations. Let's be honest. They're helping us all grow, right? Not just as individuals, but also as a community. And if it hasn't been made obvious yet, we're very serious about making a tangible impact. And your financial contributions can empower us to accelerate progress and development in key areas across the globe. So if you do value these conversations and you value this community, we definitely love you to consider, making a gift. If you're giving through PayPal, I want to highlight a few of the options that are available there. And one of them is new. But when you give through PayPal, you will see the option of to support DaranteLaMar and Darnaya Darice, and that's just if you just want to give us something, that's where you do that one at. You can support the content production, which means that you want your money to be used for content shit. Support community development. That's the option of just supporting growing community. Excuse me. To support our growing community. Support community missions, which we'll kind of define that as we go on. Support campus activities, things like game night and stuff like that. We can always use more resources. But the new one on there is called Support, Help, and Hope. And we talked about Help and Hope before. It's a program that we definitely want to get back reestablished within Bridge City. But the Help and Hope one is also, I want that to serve kind of as our benevolence bucket, if you will. in the sense that I want our community to be able to make a real difference in the lives of the members of our community. And so that's what this bucket is for. We're growing, we're still young, we're still early, so there's not much we can do now. But if we start and get serious about this now, I think we can make a difference. And I say this because we have members of our community who do great work for us, and some of them are struggling, man. Some of them have things that they're going through. And the beauty of community is being able to come together and help people. And it's not even just people who are struggling. Like we were in a conversation last week, and other people just had an idea that, something that for lack of better words, wanted to bless one of the members of our communities with something that they felt that they needed, And so for things like that, we want that bucket there. So that's what that bucket is for Help and Hope. Eventually, it won't be just for helping people within our community. Eventually, it'll be making sure we can make a proactive and powerful impact in the world beyond our community. Yeah. But right now, that's where that focus is. So, and that's just something like, honestly, it doesn't have to be a lot. But if you ever think about it and say, you know what, if you have a passion about people who are going through hard times, drop something in that bucket. That's what that's for. Mm-hmm. And then the other thing that I'm going to hit, other than the other stuff that I need to hit, is we're coming to Raleigh in April, man. Oh my goodness. People have already started registering. People have already started giving. Yeah. We do have a campaign crowdfunding link, which I know we've already shared in the chat. Oh, we can share it again. I did add another one. This one is actually smaller than the other one. I don't know why this one is shorter. Yes, that's right. So we're super excited about this. Because of that, I am going to be super duper fundraisery in every video from this moment until we get to April, right? Because I want to make sure that we can do this right. I want to make sure that this is an awesome event. Now, again, we've already kind of committed to whether this is an event where we just show up and eat some pizzas or whether this is a full-on event. We're going to try to make this happen the best that we can. But please share that link. Share the website link if you can. Let's get this information out as much as we can. I know Kurt and Kyle have been spending some time wrestling with what we could possibly do as fundraisers. We're obviously going to do a fundraiser live. So if y'all got some ideas, throw them your boys' way. But yeah, so please support Raleigh. I am so excited about what's happening here. And I would love for us to be able to, I want it to be the way where it's full. I want all our teams to be supported. I want a full band. That's just me. I gotta have that music there, man. I ain't got to, but I would love to. But yeah, so that's it. That's all I got for that part. Now, before we close out every week, we always have a poll. Today's poll got 47 votes so far. And the question is this your first time joining us for Bridge Sunday sessions? The answer is either hell yeah or heavens no. I had to get proper there. And we got 53% where this was your first time joining us.
Wow.
This is the first Sunday where we've had more new members more new people than we had regular folks. Wow, that's amazing. It's so glad to have you all out here. I wonder how many of those were trolls. I don't think the trolls would vote, though. Would the trolls participate in the poll? I don't know. But thank you all so much for your votes. Thank you for your participation. We love y'all so much. This community is growing, and I cannot wait to see where it grows from here. We need your full support. We need as many mouthpieces as we can for the Raleigh event. Spread everything you can. Please show people that website because people need more information to know what it's about. And let's make this thing happen. And last but not least, I'm going to get out the way in a few. Make sure to join us.
You're not in the way.
Oh, make sure to join us tonight, 5 o'clock. Heathens, the whole cast. I'm telling y'all, this is going to be insane. Y'all have already met AT Coffee. You're going to meet Natalie, Sarah, HG Roberts. This is going to be amazing. And we're going to talk about this whole documentary experience, the musical experience, and what you're going to be expecting in the next few months. All right, that's it. I've got enough. I'm done.
Yeah, we already said a lot. So thanks again for joining us today. We will see you this evening Also, if you haven't put where you're watching from, that 53%, come on, put your city, state in there so we can start it and we know.
From. Yes.
Also, when the video is done, the live, go back and comment. Put an emoji if you like. If you don't have nothing to say, put an emoji. Smile, heart, so we can get others watching as well and sharing. Also here, don't forget, if you have time, you can jump in the post session, hang out, and meet others that are in the community as well. And so we would love to also see you there. And yeah, and we put all the links in the chat at some point. The Discord, the website is in the chat. I just put it in. Also, if you like to donate to the Raleigh event, and if you would just like to donate in general to our different categories like Help and Hope, we can eventually do work for others throughout the year. You can do that as well. Just make sure you pick that category, which category you would like. All right. And so every Sunday after these sessions, like I said, we join in, have a group that hangs out when they can. We love to see you in the mix. And thank you for taking your time to listen to us, to share your thoughts. And don't forget to go in Discord. Look out for those questions for Sunday sessions so you can participate in the conversations there as well. Keep it going. Keep conversing. Keep getting better. I hope you enjoy the rest of your week. And until next time, always remember,
keep rising.
To keep rising.
And be the bridge.
And be the bridge.
Be unfucked with. You know what I'm saying?
You know what I'm saying?
I was living my life in the servitude of misunderstandings of people I loved. Giving it all, it was never enough. Because of the fall, I could never get up. I moved on from their misunderstandings. I am no longer standing under them. I was drowning, now I swim. 'Cause I found the strength within. I don't need your absent friend. 'Cause I got this, yeah. 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 This is holy ground. Depraved and deprived, I was living your lies. Lost in a moment with truth sacrificed. Voices aplenty that never seen right. Visions, distractions that altered my sight. I moved on from their misunderstandings. I am no longer standing under them. I was drowning, now I swim.